Hey everyone, guys, I'm so excited for tonight. Amy, how are you?
Sorry, I didn't have my volume on my computer. Great. How are you?
Good. I'm so excited to have you on tonight, and I'm just going to introduce you, and then I'm going to let you kind of take the floor and tell your story. So,
Yeah.
guys, I'm Alicia Gegg. I'm an Ambassador Diamond with It Works, and I have along with me tonight another Ambassador Diamond, Amy Spence. Amy, I just adore you. She is top 25 income earner in the company. She was just recognized and got the Freedom Award at conference. She is amazing. She loves to have fun, and that's one of my favorite parts about her. So, Amy, if you don't mind, just go ahead and tell us your story, and then I'll ask you some questions after that.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you guys for having me, Alicia. I'm so excited. I met your, sorry guys, I met your fabulous leader, I guess like 2 years ago at my very first dash, I think it was. Was it dash? It was
Oh,
something.
green carpet.
Green carpet.
Yep.
So, anyways, but she is an incredible leader. So you guys have great leadership on your team. So hopefully, I know you guys all know that. But anyway, she's one of my favorites. So I was very honored when she asked me to come on and talk to you guys. But like she said, my name is Amy Spence, and I'm an Ambassador Diamond. I have been with It Works for 3 years. And so a little bit about my story. I started when I was a guidance counselor. So I was a high school guidance counselor. And at the time, my husband was a teacher. He is now he's now a principal and athletic director. Ooh, I lost you guys. Sorry. But yes, we were both in education, and any of you guys in education tonight know that we don't do that for the money. It's we don't get paid near as much as we work, but we do it because we love kids. And so we were in debt, and a lot of people didn't know that about us. We weren't in bad debt. Steve and I had student loan debt from my master's degree, and then our daughter Caroline was born with a very rare genetic disorder called PKU. And so PKU, if any of you guys have had children, it's what they do the heel prick test for. And Steve and I were both the carriers. We obviously did not know it because, you don't really get genetic testing done when you get married. So we had no idea that we were both the carriers. No one in our family has it. It's very, very rare. And so her medical bills are really expensive. She has to be on special formula. Just actually this month we spent just on her formula that she has to drink every day. So it's kind of like her milk. She's 5 years old now, but we call it her milk at our house. So she drinks it 3 times a day. We just spent $732 just for her month's supply of formula, and her food is very expensive too. So any average month, we spend about $1,000 to the highest $3,000 a month on her food and formula and her medical bills. Before I joined It Works, we were educators, and we made too much money for the state of Missouri to get any kind of assistance. And insurance sometimes will help out, sometimes they don't. Our particular insurance will give us like $3,000 a year. So it kind of covers for 1 month. And that's after we meet our deductible and all that. So we get about $3,000 a year worth of help. So 11 months out of the year, we're paying that much money. So as you guys can tell, that was an additional mortgage, well, way more than our mortgage that we were paying in our first house. So we were continuously in this vicious cycle of debt. We became used to living in debt and almost okay with the idea. And so something changed though for me because I wanted a second child, and my husband told me no. So why I always, because he said we couldn't afford it. That's why. Steve and I have a 25% chance every time we have a child that child will have PKU. And so before It Works, we just couldn't afford another child with daycare, and the cost of her PKU is just so expensive. And why I like to tell you guys this part of my story is because that was in January of 2014. And I had been introduced to It Works in August of 2013 by Allie Antonacci. She's an Ambassador Diamond, and she's also my enroller. And I had met her through a mutual friend. And she tried to get me to join that day. She had been in for like a month, and you guys know how crazy it works people are when they've been in, when they first get in, and we're just so excited and just so full of energy. And so she tried to get me to join, and I wanted nothing to do with it. At the time, I was a high school guidance counselor, a head volleyball coach. The last thing I wanted to do was do this. I didn't really believe that these wraps worked, but I didn't even know what it was. I just knew that I didn't need anything else on my plate, and I really thought she was crazy, y'all. And I can say that now because she literally is one of my she's one of my best friends. So I tell everyone all the time that she was really crazy. But what she did that night that I met her is that she friended me on Facebook. And so this is why it's so important. I hope that you guys, no matter where you are on a daily basis, you really slow down and take time to realize who you come in contact with, and you always add them to your social media outlets. I tell my team all the time that your social media is your door to your business, okay? You can't work this business 100% on social media. I don't care what anyone says. You still got to get out there and make relationships, right? This is a relationship business. But your door is your social media. And so it's like if you own a furniture store, you want to open that door 7 days a week, at least 7 days a week, so you can get some revenue coming in. Well, that is how you need to treat your social media. If you guys aren't posting consistently, if you guys are not incorporating networks into your life, if you're not passionate about it, if you're not happy about it on Facebook, people aren't going to think you're serious. And so you can go to Alicia's profile, you can go to my profile, you can go to any ambassador diamond in the company, or even for that matter, I would go on and say probably any presidential diamond in the company, and see that that is one thing we all do across the board. We all work our businesses differently, but we're all consistent on social media. So Allie friended me, and that sparked my interest. She was very consistent posting. I watched how It Works was changing her life. She messaged me. She followed up with me so much. So when I say she followed up with me, she didn't follow up with me just 5 times, y'all. In fact, they created when I joined, she created a Microsoft Word document, and it was called Recruiting Amy Spence, and she copy and pasted all of the messages she sent me, and they were enough to fill 3 and 4 pages on a Microsoft Word document. So for 6 months, she was continuously messaging me. Sorry, I get really ADD, and I think somebody unmuted themselves.
I've had that a few times this week.
It happens all the time.
Okay, Chrissy, where are you at?
I'm trying to mute her, but it won't let me mute her.
Amy, not you, Amy Spence. Another Amy. Make sure that you're muted.
I mean, it doesn't even say he's not Alicia. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Okay, sorry. Anyways, okay, so as I was saying, she followed up with me, and she would ask me personal questions. So like if she saw on my Facebook that I had a volleyball game, she would message me and say, how did your volleyball game go? Right? She was asking about Caroline. She was asking about my husband. So these are the things that you got to take into consideration when you guys are, targeting people. And I like to use the word target because we want to target people. We want to find those people that we think would be great on our team, and we want to target them. I recently started doing this calendar method, and I know I'm not going to have time tonight to go into the details, but maybe Alicia, if you guys want, I can maybe go live on your team page one day. I've done it for several other people and explain my calendar method because it's been a game changer for our team. But I'm not a mass adder on social media, guys. I add 3 people a day maybe on Instagram and Facebook, and I'm a steps to success girl. I'm not a mass enroller. I always enroll my 3. Sometimes I enroll 5 and 6, okay? But I consistently do this because this is how I'm targeting people. I'm interacting with them. I'm building that relationship. So when I say target, that means building a relationship. We cannot expect you can't expect you to add someone to your social media and immediately want to join your team, okay? We have to build that relationship. So that's what Allie was doing the whole entire time. Because remember, we had a mutual friend, but I didn't know Allie at all. So this is where my story starts with at work. So my husband basically told me we couldn't afford another child. And I realized that something had to change. That night, Allie promoted to double diamond. And I was laying in bed. I had been crying. And I got on my phone and I saw her promotion. And I was like, okay, whatever. Let me just reach out to her. Because I knew something had to change in our situation, or we were going to be in debt for the rest of our lives. And maybe not the rest of our lives. We would eventually get ahead. But at that moment, I couldn't see when that was going to be. Like, we would be paying on my student loans for the next 20 years. Caroline, we will do anything for her. So we would be paying all of this for the rest of her life. I just didn't know when that was going to happen for us. So I messaged, and Steve wasn't going to get another job. I wasn't going to get another job outside of the home because we wanted to, spend time together as a family. So I messaged her and I said, I think I'm ready to start. And she was like, oh my gosh, really? Yay. So that was kind of where I started. I joined February 2nd. It was when the bonuses were out. And you guys, I joined strictly for the bonus. The bonuses out right now, there are people out there who want just that bonus. Use that to your benefit. Talk it up. Claim it on Facebook, the bonus you're going for. Every day, every other day. Claim, I'm getting a $30,000 bonus. Who's joining me? I'm getting a $10,000 bonus. Who's joining me? That's going to pique people's curiosity. The moment I signed, I started talking about that $10,000 bonus. In fact, I talked about it so much on social media that my second distributor that enrolled me, or that joined me, Lindsay Bishop, she's also an Ambassador Diamond. She was my second distributor, and she had already thought that I had earned $10,000 because of how much I was posting it. So it sparked her interest enough to come to me and say, what is this $10,000 bonus all about, right? So that's why I tell my team, claim it, claim it, claim it. I claimed Ambassador. I can't tell you how many times before it actually happened. And I'm sure Alicia did the same thing. You've got to shoot big, and it doesn't matter if you fall short. So why I also bring up the fact that it took me 6 months is because I know some of you guys on here tonight have those people that you keep talking to all the time. You've been talking to for months. You've been talking to, maybe even a year or two. I don't know. But don't give up on them, because this is the thing. Every 6 months, and I used to be a counselor, so I have a psychology background, counseling background, but every 6 months, someone goes through a life change. And it could be simple as like getting a dog, or a breakup, or a divorce, or someone in their family dying, losing a job, getting a new job. So every 6 months, someone evaluates their life, and we do it. You do it too. You just probably don't realize it subconsciously, but you compare yourself to other people. You compare yourself to where you were maybe a year ago. And so you never know when someone is going to reevaluate their situation and then remember you, but they're not going to remember you if you don't continuously follow up with them. So when someone tells me no, that doesn't mean that I stop talking to them. They go on my no list, and I reach back out to them in like 6 weeks. And then I keep reaching back out to my no's. And I've never, y'all, this is honest truth. In all the 3 years I've been doing this, I maybe have had 3 people tell me, please don't ever message me again. And in fact, one of those people unfriended me, and we went to college together, and we weren't really friends. We were just acquaintances. And I messaged them back, and I said, hey, look, there's an unfollow button, but I really miss seeing pictures of you and your kids, because we were kind of friends like our freshman year. And she was like, well, your posts annoy me. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry you feel that way, but I'm doing this for my family. And at that point, I had already promoted to double diamond, and I had earned 10 plus 15, $25,000 worth of bonuses. And so I told her that, and I said, just add me back and unfollow me. Within 3 weeks, y'all, she joined as a distributor on my team. So who cares if people unfriend you? Who cares? Don't believe in what you're doing. Never lose sight of the fact that right now what you have is a life-changing opportunity in your hands, but it's up to you what you do with it. So you can get defeated when people tell you no, or you can run with it when people tell you no. And I love no's because it's like a challenge to me. I have a girl right now who I've been talking to for a year, and she's like purposely right now ignoring me because she told me last month she was going to join. And I sent her a message because she liked one of my posts today. So I sent her a message and I said, I see you liking my stuff. You're going to eventually join my team. Why are you waiting? And she was like, all she responded back was LOL. But she hasn't told me no. Like, there's going to come a time when I get a message from her and say, hey, I'm ready to join your team. So I talk a lot. But anyways, I joined It Works. Within 13 months, I promoted to Ambassador Diamond. I don't remember that year really of my life. And I always tell people this when I'm a guest speaker on Teams Zooms, but it takes sacrifice to get to where we are. And I hate the word sacrifice, but that's really what it is. I like to call it long-term investments or short-term investments for the long-term investments, whatever you want to, how you want to think about it. But in the end, I had to talk to my husband. I had to tell them what I was doing. I was presidential in January when we went to conference 2 years ago. And Mark announced the double good bonuses for the first time. And I was 117 distributors away from Ambassador. Yeah, like 100, maybe it was like 107. I know it was over 100. And Kayla Rowling, who's also an Ambassador Diamond, my very first distributor, she was even more. And we looked at each other and we said, we are going to do this. And so we went home, we got a game plan together. Within like 6 weeks, I held like 40 parties, and I went Ambassador at the end of March. But I couldn't have done it without getting my husband on board and like telling my daughter. And she was 3 at the time, but she knows. Like, y'all, she goes live on my Facebook page, like my Facebook team page, almost like every week. She just will go and talk to people and tell them to sell Fat Fighters. I mean, they know. Get your kids involved because they know what you're doing is to better your family. And so that's kind of my story. I just went after it, and Caroline was my why initially when I joined, and then throughout the process of being in It Works, we discovered that I was going through infertility, and I'm very open with it because 1 in 6 women have infertility issues, and if I can help anyone out there, then then I'm glad to share my story. But it's crazy how when I joined this company, it was so I can have another kid, and then when we started making money, I realized I couldn't have another kid biologically. And so now It Works is going to be the reason that we get to expand our family financially, because if it wasn't for It Works, there's no way we'd be able to do it. So everything lately for me has come full circle. And I'm like so excited about this time right now being in this company, because I know I'm right here where I'm supposed to be. So anyways, that's me, Alicia.
Amy, I love you. I love your story. And I'm so glad that you brought up that Caroline was your why in the beginning, and now your why has come to, growing your family. But don't you think, I want you to stress a little bit about just how important, like, holding on to that why is.
Oh, geez. I mean, you guys, I think sometimes, and my team does this too, I think sometimes you guys look at these leaders, whether it's Alicia or, anyone that's in the top 1% or, anyone that corporate maybe spotlights or whatever. I think you guys look at these people sometimes and think that we don't have like really bad days. And we do. We have really bad months. We have really bad days. But the one thing is, I think the difference, actually know the difference between me and you guys on this Zoom, you new distributors or you executives and rubies, the difference between me and where you guys are now, and maybe some of you guys just joined, but I just asked more people. I did more. And I know and I held on to my why every single day when things got tough, and I didn't stop. I really had my blinders on, and I knew I had every promotion I hit, I didn't celebrate. I was constantly the next promotion. I had a girl go diamond last night, and I was like, okay. So when E-Suite rolled over at like 11:45 and, she went diamond, I was like, you have tonight and tomorrow morning to celebrate. When I call you at 9, you better have your double diamond chart out, and we're charting for double, because this momentum from January to about June, I would say, only happens once a year, right? I mean, this is our time right now. And you guys, this is when you need to run with it. And Jade Hooper told me, and this is a really good piece of advice, talk to as many people every single day that you can about It Works. That is your job as an It Works distributor. But no, they're not going to sign up right then and there. They're just not going to. But they're going to, and if you don't talk to them, some other It Works distributor is going to get them. So every day I wake up, and that is my job, right? I don't always wear It Works shirts. I don't always bombard people when I meet them, but I really, really try to slow my life down. For instance, instead of pumping gas at the pump, I go inside to pay for the gas. And it's annoying when I have Caroline because I have to get her out of the car seat and then go. But it's a way to interact with someone. Think about the people at Target. Think about your waitresses and your waiters. Think about the people at Walmart. Think about people, just that you come in contact. The moms of your, that are at the soccer field, baseball field, whatever it is that you do. Think about all those people. Your neighbors, for instance. I mean, there's so many people we come in contact with, and don't be hesitant to tell them what you're doing.
Perfect. I love that. Okay, so I got a couple of questions whenever I told them that you were going to be joining us tonight. So first, I was just going to ask, I know there's no typical day. Like me being an ambassador, me being a mom like you, I know there's no typical day for us. But what are a few things that you try to do every single day as far as like your income producing activities? So you cannot.
I love this question. Okay, so this goes with my calendar method. So Ambassador Diamond, Sarah O'Connell, I was talking to her this past summer. So it's been about 7 or 8 months. And she told me, she was like, I just told her, I was like, I've been going through all my messages. I had no organization system. I am totally blue if you guys haven't taken the personality test. And I am just go fly by the seat of my pants. So anyways, I was losing people that I was talking to like a year ago were signing up with other It Works distributors because I forgot about them. So she was like, okay, well, here's what I do. I get a desktop calendar and I just write down names so I can remember. And I'm like, oh, that's a great idea. So with that, I've created this like tracking method. And when I say tracking, it's literally like a tracking method. And I really don't, I want to go in more detail with you guys, but I told Alicia that I have a team Zoom at like 9:15ish. So I will do another Zoom for you guys and explain that at another time, or I'll go live, or I'll make a video and send it to Alicia, whatever she wants me to do. But since then, it's been just such a game changer for me and so many people on so many other teams in my team. But I do a thing called a 6 list, and you guys probably have heard about it, but every night I write down 6 things that I want to do the next day for my business. There are 3 that are non-negotiable, and so those 3 I do every single day for my business, and it's adding people to my network. So I'm always adding. I'm not a mass follower. I add 3 to 5 people a day on Facebook, and there's a particular way that I like to add people, and I'll be glad to share that with you when I do my calendar thing. And so I add people on Facebook, Instagram. I interact with people. So when I say interact with people, this has nothing to do with It Works, y'all. I literally go to my calendar method and I'm interacting with people that I have added every single day from my calendar. So when someone adds me as their friend on Facebook, so I add, they accept, their name goes on that particular date. So today's March 1st. I added 3 people today. As soon as I get the notification that they became my friend, their name goes on March 1st, right? Then March 2nd comes around, I do the same thing. Then March 3rd comes around, I'm doing the same thing. Well, I'm always going back to the previous day to comment or like on their profiles. So they see my name in their notifications several times. So by March 15th, the people that I've added March 1st have seen my name 15 times, okay? So eventually they're gonna be like, who is Amy Spence? How did we become friends? And if you guys are doing your job correctly, they're going to go to your profile, and your profile is going to look amazing. And when I say amazing, there's going to be pictures of you and your kids. There's going to be pictures of you and your dogs, your best friends. There's going to be a picture of the food, like this beautiful food that you went out to dinner and you know, like chips and salsa. There's going to be live videos. There's going to be some pictures of It Works intertwined in there. There's not going to be a lot of like stock photos that say, I have wraps, come get them. Like no one's going to do that. So you have to incorporate It Works into your life. And if your profile looks good, you're going to start seeing them interact with you. Because by March 30th, the people I added March 1st have now seen my name like 30 times. And so when I say interacting, it has nothing to do with It Works. It is liking, commenting. And if a girl's wearing a cute shirt that I like, or if her little boy or little girl is wearing a cute dress that I like, I literally message them and I say, oh my goodness, I love your little girl's dress. Where did you get it? So I'm really genuine with interaction. So that's something I do every day. The third thing that I do every day is follow up. And then the other three things are they change. So something I'll do is I'll do self-development, and that means, I'm reading for 20, 30 minutes, writing loyal customers thank you notes, edifying team members, writing messages to teammates, sending out reports, sending emails, just different things on various days. Sometimes it's go to the post office. But I am so ADHD that what I do is when I go to my office to do this, you guys, I make it into a power hour. So I use my timer on my Apple Watch, or I use my timer on my phone, and I set the timer for 10-minute intervals, sometimes 15 if I have more time, and I just check off the list. So like first one is interacting with people. So for 15 minutes of my day, I'm looking at the names on my calendar, and I'm typing in their names on Facebook, and I'm pulling it up, and I'm interacting. And what you're going to see is your interaction with these people, it's going to make your stuff show up more on their newsfeed. Their stuff's going to show up more on your newsfeed. This is all how the Facebook algorithm works. So that's what I do. And so I break it up into a power hour. And I always tell people, you have an hour a day to work your business. You may not have an hour at a time, but you could do 30 minutes here and then 30 minutes here. And you could be done with your 6 list. Because Pam Souder always told me that you only need 1 hour, one consistent hour to work this business. And it is so true, y'all. Of course you want to do more, but you're doing more in other areas of your life when you're out running errands, or, your team member calls when you're driving in your car. That's working too. So that's what I do every day.
Oh my God, I think every single one of us just had a huge light bulb go off. So yes, we will take you up on that, whether we'll discuss that later, but we will for sure.
And what I tell people is you have to have a system in this business. When I went ambassador, I got lost for like a year, guys. I was going through the motions. I was recruiting people, but I had worked my booty off so hard that it was just like, what do I do now? I reached the top, right? And so I didn't have a system. And so I think it's so important from day one, you have to have a system. And this calendar thing, y'all, it works. It's just so you can be committed. So now it's March. I have over 900 names because I've been doing it since like July. And these are people I just cross off when they become customers or distributors. And today randomly, I was like, I'm going to go see who I friended in August that hasn't signed up yet. And so I pulled out my August calendar, and I'm interacting with their names now too. So we'll go over that at a later date.
Love it. I love that so much. Okay, so I know you have your team Zoom coming up really quick.
You're okay.
I'm going to ask one more question, and then we'll close it out. But March, this is a huge month for all of us, with the big promotion, with the bonuses, with just in general, this time of year, like you said, is just booming. If all of these people on here, if you had one tip to give them to go after that $10,000 bonus or the $30,000 bonus, whatever it is, what would you tell them?
It's funny because that's what I'm about to do my team Zoom on. Do more. And I used to hate when people would tell me that, but it's true. Okay. So for instance, I have a girl who's Ruby, right? She wants to go Emerald this month, and then she wants to go Diamond next month. She went Ruby. She joined in February, and she promoted to Ruby really quick in 1 month. And so I was like, okay, well, why are we shooting for Emerald this month? Like, you can jump from Ruby to Diamond. So I said, how many people are you talking to every day? And she was like, 4. I said, okay, we're going to double that. We're going to talk to 8 people a day. How many parties do you have booked this month? And she said 1. I said, then you need to at least get 2 more on the books. You guys, you just have to do. And when someone tells you no, don't get discouraged. Go after the next person. But it is so easy to get caught up in your own head. It's so easy to look at that chart and you're like, how am I going to get there? And if you're a Ruby right now, you need to be working with every member on your team, setting up three-way calls, starting group messages. I really believe that there is more power in numbers. So I work with my team, and in the first, I'm doing it now with people who've been in for like 5 months, but I'm like, look, start a group message with me and someone new, and let me send some voice messages. Because if you have 2 or 3 people excited, And then you have this potential. This potential is going to hear from 3 different people, right? And then find stories that you can relate to your potentials with. So like, for instance, one of my girls has a really strong potential who's a college student. And she's like, I just don't have time for this. So I gave her Courtney Boer's story. Courtney Boer is an Ambassador Diamond, and she's a college student. She joined when she was 19 years old, and she's making incredible money, and she's still in college. It's crazy what she did with this business at such a young age. So I gave this girl Courtney's story, and she was like, oh my goodness, wow, I could do this. So I think just making yourself relatable and really making your people that you are talking with having something to relate them with. Because I mean, like, for instance, you know, someone who's a nurse, I was never a nurse. I don't really know what nurses do, but there's so many nurses and it works that I can say, look, this is how this nurse retired from her job to come home with her babies. But honestly, guys, it's just doing more. You have to decide, and I strongly believe this, the minute you decide that you are double diamond, you will be double diamond. But you have to make that switch in your brain, and you have to write it everywhere. Write it on sticky notes, write it on mirrors. And if that means that you go to sleep at midnight every night because you're following up with people, I mean, I don't have any sympathy for people who say they don't have time, because I worked all the way up through Ambassador and then some. So I went Ambassador in March, and I did not retire from my job until July, because I was a counselor. I was not going to leave my kids in the middle of a school year. And so I was a coach. I was a counselor. I worked this job like it was my full-time job, even though I had a full-time job. And that means I was sleep deprived. That means I was Googling YouTube videos. That means I was on every single corporate call, every single training that my upline offered. That means that I was going out of my comfort zone. I mean, that's what it takes. That is what it takes. And you have to make that decision that you're going to do that.
Amy, you are incredible.
I have time for one more question if you have one, but if not, that's really fine.
No, I do. If we'll finish with this one then, because I know you got that.
Perfect.
Okay, so I know you're still recruiting, and you said you're not a mass recruiter, which I absolutely love, because I'm not a mass recruiter either. I'm a steps to success girl. So in training and getting these new distributors that join your team, how do you get the ball rolling? How do you train them right out of the gates?
Okay. This is a great question. So what I do, it is very easy to get overwhelmed in this business. I think we've added so much, you know, Zooms were not around when I joined. Okay. My upline didn't offer training calls when I joined. Like it wasn't like this. We had the Sunday night call and the Monday night call, and that's all we had. So I think really knowing your distributor, and I will have those conversations. This is a relationship business. I don't care how many people will tell you, like, there's the steps to success for a reason. There's only 3 distributors on that sheet for a reason. Okay, guys, I made $1 million in 3 years by just doing the steps to success. So don't ever feel like when you are just enrolling 3 distributors a month that you're never going to get to Ambassador, because you will. You will teach that to your team. The very first 15 people I've signed up in the business are still with me to this day. And do you know why? Because we had relationships. That year where I was just recruiting people after I went Ambassador, I didn't have relationships with them. I did not take the time to pour into them and have relationships with them. So you guys, first and foremost, know this is a relationship business. You may have to spend 5 to 10 minutes of your day and ask them when they first enroll, tell me about yourself. Why are you doing this? Understand their why, because then you can use that later to motivate them, to help them reach their goals, because you can dangle their why in front of their face. So that's what I do. I really just have a conversation with them. I have them start a group message or get on a 3-way call with 2 potential distributors and 2 potential loyal customers in their first 72 hours. I'm like, look, if you know 2 people, we all know 2 people who would want more money, and we all know 2 people who want to try these products. Start a group message on Facebook right now. And then I lead that conversation. And so do you know what I'm doing? Not only am I answering their questions, but I'm training that new distributor on what to say and what not to say. So it's kind of like I'm killing 2 birds, or I'm knocking out 2 birds with 1 stone. I have them focus on their first 4 loyal customers. you need to have your first 4 loyal customers in a week. And I know that there's no timeline in a week, but I believe that if you can get this business loves speed. And so if you can get them to get their first win ASAP, it's going to benefit both of you guys. So I help them get that first win, and then we book a launch party. And then other than that, they print out their steps of success. I add them to our team page. I do not send my distributors a long checklist of stuff, because here's why. If someone were to send that to me when I first joined, if Allie were to do that, I would have run the other way. I didn't have time to mark off stuff, right? I also make sure that they watch their training videos. But you have to do what's best for you. And if your way is working, then that's great. But if not, you may have to adapt based on your distributor. And you may have to ask them. Kay Souter does this, and so it just has stuck with me. She's like, look, what do you want from me? Do you want to go fast or do you want to walk? If you want to go fast, I'm going to throw things at you. If you want to walk, I'm going to hold your hand and we're going to walk together. And either way, we're going to be together. But I'm going to know what pace you want to go. And just because someone doesn't start off the bat right away doesn't mean you give up on them. Because Bonnie Altrudo didn't sign up anyone for 3 months, and look at her now. She's an Ambassador Diamond in the Millionaires Club and a top income earner for the company. So don't let someone's beginning, make you think that they're never going to do anything.
Yes. So good. Yeah. I appreciate you so much, Amy. And I know all of these guys on here appreciate you getting on, sharing your excitement and your enthusiasm. Like, seriously, that's my favorite part about you. I love it. So fun.
I'm so happy all the time. Hey, you got to do one for my Timo now.
I totally will. Yeah,
and
you just tell me when.
Just message me. You can add me on your Facebook page and then take me off, and I'll do a live one day during the day when I have more time. And then I'll show you guys real quick, because it just helped so many people, and so I love sharing it with people. So
yes, I think we are all going to go out tomorrow and get our own desktop.
Do it. It's a game changer, but you got to promise me that you're going to stick with it. It's not something you can do for a month and then automatically see all these huge results.
Yes, totally. All right, Amy,
thank you, girl.
Thank you again. Have a good night.